welcome back to the channel. And as you can probably tell by the last few videos, we've been doing a lot of car camping lately. And with everything going on with the virus, I haven't really been too excited or really wanted to stay in hotels too much, so our preferred method of travel this year has been car camping. Specifically, dispersed camping, which is actually free. And one question I get asked all the time lately is, how do I actually find these spots? In this video, I'm going to do my best to explain where you can camp in Michigan for free, how I specifically find those spots and what apps we use, and then we're also going to take you out in the field where we actually go out and find a spot to camp for the night. And the reason that I don't just respond to everybody and give them a bunch of camping spots is because people are kind of secretive about their camping spots. I understand, for good reason. And I know that the Upper Peninsula has actually been getting hit really hard this year with a bunch of campers that they're not used to. I think that's probably due to the virus. Everybody's looking to get out and camp. And locals are complaining that their spots are getting ruined because once a photo and a location is posted online, everybody flocks to it. Some access roads have even been closed due to overcrowding and people being stupid and leaving their garbage. I definitely don't want that to happen, and there's more than enough public land, especially in Michigan, for everybody to enjoy. So I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to actually find your own spots. So I guess let's just get right into it. So some of you might not even know that you can legally camp for free. I know I didn't until a few years ago, and I'm actually going to link up in the corner, if you guys haven't seen it, our first time car camping in Marquette back in 2019. But in Michigan, you can actually camp for free on any state-owned land or national forest land, which is technically called dispersed camping. And basically, you just kind of find your own spot in the middle of the woods, and obviously there are a few restrictions. So there's tons of state land in Michigan, and we have 3 national forests. And so the state land is actually ran by the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, and the national forest land is ran by the Forest Service. And the rules vary a bit between the two, but there's a few general rules that apply to all of them. So I'm going to link in the description all the resources you'll need for the rules for camping on state land, and then all 3 national forests here in Michigan. And if you're not in Michigan, all this information does apply to you. You just have to look it up based in your state and your national forest. So now that we've determined where you're able to legally camp, now we actually just have to figure out how to find these spots. I know that when I was first starting, I would look at this map and be like, okay, so where do you even start to begin looking? Now, first off, there are sites that do post public campsites, like I think iOverlander and freecampsites.net, but honestly, I try to avoid using those because usually they're not legitimate spots, or if they are, they're very popular, very crowded spots. Most of them in Michigan actually are just where people have just kind of pulled over on the side of the road and find a spot to camp for the night, which isn't necessarily legal. But I know that some of those websites are a lot better out west. This is just my experience with it using it in Michigan. So feel free to check it out if you want, but I would definitely recommend finding your own spot. And the whole point for us about getting out and wanting to be off the grid and dispersed camp is to be as far away from people as possible, and that's usually what you're going to find on national forest or state land. Okay, so the apps that I primarily use when I'm scoping for these spots is Google Maps and Google Earth and LANDGRID. All of them are actually free. There are other paid apps that you can get, but I just prefer to use this because it's free. All right, so we are going to actually hop into the computer for a second, and I'm going to attempt to record my screen and show you guys what I'm doing here. All right, so here we are. We have Google Earth, Google Maps, and then this is LANDGRID. And LANDGRID is actually an app that you're able to search for all parcel data, so basically to see who owns the land that you're on. So we'll find the spot on Google Maps, and then we'll actually verify in LANDGRID who owns the property before we go out there. So the first things first is, this is a huge map of Michigan, and obviously you can see right away the Hiawatha National Forest in the Upper Peninsula is very clearly marked. And the reason I like using Google Maps is because you're able to see here the dark green kind of outlines the national forest and state forests. If you go in the lower peninsula, kind of where we're going to be at later in this video, is the dark green parts in here is also considered state land. So it's kind of hard to tell on Google Maps, but like you can see the state forest, this whole area right here. So actually, we might use that as our first, okay, yeah. So let's just say that we want to go all the way up to Mackinac Island and we want to find a camp spot somewhere in the middle here, right here, so we can camp before we get to the bridge. So what I would be doing is basically looking along. We're going to be coming up 75 most likely, but we'll just say we're going to look for this. See all of this dark green? This is all areas where we can look. So since this is actually labeled Roscommon State Forest area, I'm just going to zoom in. And now that we know this is the green area, we can kind of use satellite to actually see what it looks like. Okay, so it actually looks like this is all 2 tracks back here, which is actually perfect. We might have found a perfect example here. So, okay, so the first thing is you want to find the opening in the 2 tracks. So this is actually, like I said, pretty easy. So right here is the opening. So if you go here, it looks like it's all pretty open here. It's all state forest. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click right here, and I'm going to take this here and copy it, and then we're going to go over to LANDGRID, And we're going to try to paste that in here. And there it is. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And all right, so we can see this water here and how big this parcel is. So this is basically showing us this entire area is basically all of this. So it's a huge area, and the owner name, State of Michigan DNR. So that checks out. So that is good to go. That shows us that this is campable land. All of this back here is State of Michigan DNR. So this is really the most important thing, is the owner name right here. So once you verify that the land that you're on, who it's owned by, and that it's legal to camp there, you can kind of scope all around this area and see if you find any other more camp spots. So here is a ton of like openings and stuff right here. So you would have to just verify that those are still state-owned land, but you might be able to find a better spot. And that's kind of what I use Google Maps and Google Earth for. All right, so that's kind of just an example. If you don't really know what you're looking for, you want to just look for underdeveloped areas that have tons of trees, and you want to look for those 2 tracks. And then once you find the 2 tracks, you just have to find the openings to the main road. But now I'm actually going to show you on the computer and scope out a spot, that the first spot that we went to kind of show you how you can kind of get an idea of what the landscape's going to be like on Google Earth. All right, so when we were with Roman, we were in Lake Ann, and this is the area around the Pearl Lake area. So there's a bunch of like hills and 2 tracks and stuff back here, but you can't really tell from this. So what I like to do, let's just see, let's just put a random, we're going to take this and we're going to copy the coordinates, and we're going to take it into Google Earth. And let's see. All right. And here we are. So the reason I use Google Earth is because it gives you, like, you can zoom in. Like, let's say we wanted to get, hold on, let me see here. I think where we were was actually right up here. So see how you can actually see the topography here and the hills? Let's see, can I go any more flat? But yeah, you can actually see this is where we were, and you'll see us in the video. This whole entire area was really gorgeous, and I like using Google Maps because you can actually, like I said, turn around and get a 360-degree view, and you can almost see what it's going to look like being right there. So you can zoom all the way out and kind of see how deep in this 2 tracks you are, but you can also use this to kind of judge with the land whether or not you're going to be able to make it in your vehicle. And like I said, I just like looking at it because it gives you a completely different view. Okay, so now that you kind of see my process behind the scenes of how I actually scope these spots before we go out, now I'm going to show you the first spot that we scoped out with my friend Roman when we went camping in Lake Ann. So the first spot that we went to was a spot that I just showed you guys on Google Earth. It was a long 2 tracks that went through a piece of state land that was actually pretty hilly and a lot more scenic than I was expecting, because I actually hadn't looked this up beforehand. Roman did. And the 2 tracks ended up leading us to this perfect little camping spot on the ledge that I just showed you guys. And these are exactly the types of places we were trying to find. We didn't see a single person in the area. And that's when we spur of the moment decided to film this video, because I know Roman probably get asked this a lot more than me. So I'll just cut to that footage that we filmed now. We want to show you guys how we're actually trying to find these spots, because it's not like we're just driving around aimlessly. Roman over here is like he's a professional map basically, and he knows if I need to know anything about a map or anything about Michigan in general, he's the one I ask. All right, so what we're doing right now is we're going to scope out our next spot that we're going to check out.
We're still using the LANDGRID app. We're right here now. So we're going to go back out to the main road. And let's see, all these parcels. Yep, Department of Natural Resources. So we're still good here with public land, owner state. Let's see what it says. Private. Okay, so I saw a little 2-track here, but when you click on it, obviously that has private ownership, so we're not going to take that one. And if we tried to drive down it, I'm sure there'd be a no trespassing sign anyways. So, State of Michigan. Looks like there's a 2-track right here. Probably not driven on too much. Wonder where the entrance is to that. Oh, looks like it's over here. So we can, let's see, is this public? Yep, State of Michigan. So we're gonna go drive down this 2-track, maybe check out this opening down here, if we can get there. Yeah, we're gonna look for some openings, so hopefully we can do some astrophotography tonight. And if you haven't noticed, we're pretty close to Empire, about 5-minute drive. So right next to Sleeping Bear Dunes. Hardly any campgrounds up here. The ones that are up here are really expensive.
All right, here is our 2-track here.
Here's that piece of land we were just looking at, 2-track. Let's see, anything that says no motor vehicles? Nope. This is a street sign, so this is all state land, state forest land, so you can camp anywhere here as long as you're away from the road and away from other campgrounds. Looks like it's a little bit overgrown for maybe a more full-size pickup truck, which tells me this road probably doesn't get too much traffic.
Which is a good thing if you're camping.
Yep, because we want to camp as far away from people as we can. We don't want to see any people. We want to get lost in the woods. Something tells me this is going to be a really nice spot too. Oh. Motorized use prohibited. That's funny because it's like people must have ripped out the signs at the start of the road or something. But.
Yeah. So this is a no-go? Probably better safe than sorry to follow the rules. There's plenty of other beautiful places here, so that's what happens. So that's actually a perfect example of how it's not always super easy. I've actually never seen the motor vehicle sign, so that was a surprise to me. So we went like a mile down the road and found another 2 tracks entrance, and these are the roads that I'm used to seeing, and that's how you know you're good to drive down. All right, so this is the second spot, and plenty of camping here for multiple people. There's a fire pit right in there. And we saw somebody camping in a van on our way in here. So this is another great spot, which was maybe less than a mile down the road from the last spot. And I think this is where the van is.
You guys have a pretty nice van set up.
Yeah.
22 sticker.
Jealous.
And we're only about, what, 500 feet, 200 feet off the main road.
Yeah. And here. That is the main road there, so you don't have to go super far off the main road.
And so we're just looking at the LANDGRID app, right? So we are, let's see, just, stone's throw from Empire and Sleeping Bear Dunes. Some state-owned land, owned by the state of Michigan. And yeah, like there's 2 tracks everywhere here. Look at all these potential spots. You could drive to any of these. Yeah, there's another good spot right up here. We can go check that out right now. Let's see. Kind of like the other one better, maybe.
And yeah, here's another potential spot. I think we liked the other one better, but yeah, got a fire pit here, secluded. It's very, very windy on the other side of these trees, and being tucked in here, you have no wind to worry about. And if I'm honest with you, most of these 2 tracks that you've seen us go down today, I think pretty much any car. Maybe you might need like all-wheel drive or some type of SUV that's lifted a little bit, but if you have some clearance on your vehicle, you can get to any of these spots.
Yeah, there's not too many rocks in the Lower Peninsula. It's mostly sand that'll get you. So if you have an all-wheel drive, you're pretty much good to go anywhere. So we ended up going back to that second spot that was tucked away in the pine trees because that first spot was awesome, but it was super windy. So the pine trees definitely helped block the wind. Planning to make one video explaining all of this and then showing us camping, but this video is already super long, I can already tell. So I think I'm just gonna cut it up into 2 videos, which you guys will see next week. So bear with me. This was technically my first tutorial. I don't know if I did everything correctly, but really I hope this was helpful for you guys. I know that when I wanted to go out and start finding my own camp spots, I was really overwhelmed and didn't really know where to start. So shout out to Roman for the idea and wanting to film this video. But if you don't follow him on Instagram already, definitely go check him out because not only does he post amazing photos, but he's super knowledgeable with anything in Michigan, especially camping and anything outdoors. He's actually supposed to be making a YouTube channel soon, so if he's already started it or if there's anything I can link in the description, I definitely will. Go check him out. You won't be disappointed. I'm sure he's gonna have tons of outdoor camping stuff on his channel as well. But yeah, like I said, hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Let me know down below if there's any questions you have. I'm happy to answer them. I'm gonna try to answer all the questions in the comments. And again, please make sure if you do go out camping that you follow the leave no trace rules and you leave things better than you found them. And if you did use this information and you do find a cool spot, let me know. I would love to know if this actually helped you guys. But yeah, so stay tuned next week for the rest of this video where we actually camp and Roman cooks a super gourmet meal over his wood burning stove that he brought out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.